Welcome to 24/7 Flat Earth Discord channel. Be sure to go to VC Check and 1 to get your VC verification tags to get involved in the conversation about our Earth. Be sure to bring your verifiable Earth curvature evidence, though.
Enemy spotted.
Spooby.
Source, Spooby. How's it going?
It's going good.
Cool. How did you find the server?
Someone invited me here.
Okay, nice. Have you looked into the topic much?
A little bit, not too much.
Okay. So when you think of flat Earth, are you thinking like a disk Earth in space?
Well, I don't really know how to imagine it because I haven't really seen what's like the current consensus for it? Like the current model that is used.
I wouldn't really say there is a consensus, and there's not a model.
All right.
People aren't trying to create a model because no one can get a view of Earth like that to confirm, right? So we're not claiming a shape. We're not claiming a size. We're just saying we're told it's a ball of a certain size. So people go out and try to measure the curve that the ball must have, and there's no curve.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever it is, it's not a globe, and it only seems to appear and measure level. I mean, it's topographical, right? It's got hills and valleys.
Yeah.
But when we go to the beach or see the horizon's horizontal. It's flat.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't see curve. We go in a plane. You don't see curve. The globe story is that we can't go high enough to see curve, but they can, and it's there. That's the government story. But no member of the public can do anything like that. So we just experience a flat horizon and a motionless Earth. And as far as it can be measured, that's what it is. No one's measuring curvature. No one's measuring motion. It just measures flat. The water, like a lake, measures flat. And the ground isn't moving. So we're not really like saying, oh, it's this shape, it's this size. I mean, there are concepts people have come up with, and I can maybe show you a concept to give you an idea of something just to have in your mind as a possibility, right?
Yeah.
So you see the live stream voice text just above this voice channel?
I see it.
Okay, so I'm trying to post a concept for you. Okay. So basically the idea would be that it's like a giant lake and the continents are islands.
Yeah.
Right? And the luminaries are small and local. So the sun is not massive like they say. It's quite local and it only lights a portion of the Earth at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand that concept?
Yeah. That's
Which
where we get
matches
time zones and stuff, right?
Yeah. So the sun's moving to a different part of the Earth and illuminating a different part of the Earth, and that's what we observe. We just stand on the ground. We don't feel like we're moving. We observe the sun moving around. It repeated patterns every year. There's no change. The stars are the same. Thousands of years, same star patterns, no change, and yet they tell us that we're spinning, tilting, wobbling, and hurtling through an infinite vacuum at countless millions of miles per hour and have been doing for millions and billions of years, and yet the stars are always the same. How is that?
It's strange.
It's a bit strange, right?
Yeah.
So we really need some evidence that we are on a hurtling, spinning ball of water in a vacuum, because when you really think about it, and when you really look for evidence for it, you don't find much. You find pictures and videos from the government that they could make anywhere in a studio, and you get stories about things like measuring shadows and assuming a ball It's all assumption. It was only ever always an assumption.
Wasn't there that like one guy in ancient Greece with the stick, whatever his name
Yeah.
was?
So they tell us, like, if you Google who measured the curve then, because no one at school told me who measured the curve, you'll get this story, which only appeared in the textbooks in like the 1980s, by the way. There's no primary documentation for this. There's no
Mm-hmm.
contemporary of Eratosthenes saying, my God, Eratosthenes is a real G. He just measured the whole Earth. No one's saying that back in ancient Greece, but in the 1980s, apparently, this is now the story that they're saying. And they're saying he took 2 sticks, and he planted one or a well, depends what story you read. But basically, the idea is he took a stick, and when the sun was directly overhead, he took that marking. And he had another stick, a certain amount, 500 stadia away, like a long way away. And he took a measurement of that shadow and assumed a curved ball. He was already assuming a ball, and assumed that the sun was so far away that the light rays were coming in parallel, right, in a straight line, all next to
Mm-hmm.
each other. So he made these assumptions, and he calculated what it would be if it were a ball. But the problem is, it would work on a flat surface as well, and you'd get the same results if you assumed no curvature and that the sun was actually closer and had divergent rays, which is what we actually see, right? When you see the sun above the clouds, sometimes you see the sun rays come down and they're all going in different directions, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if you traced the triangle of those sun rays back up to the top, it would be like the top of a triangle or a pyramid, right? And that would
Mm-hmm.
be where the sun is. That would be where the sun is. So that's what we actually see. We see the sun rays diverging as if it's close and local, but Eratosthenes assumed that they were coming down in a perfectly straight line and that the sun was an infinite distance away, basically. So that's what Google will tell you if you ask Google who measured the curve. But then as soon as you read a bit more into it, they'll also tell you, well, this was just an assumption of a curve. So then you're left with, well, then who the hell measured the curve? And the answer is nobody. Nobody's ever measured the curve. And the only people who've even tried to measure curve have gone out and found that there is none, and they get called flat earthers and ostracized from society.
Doesn't
Isn't that
sound very
wild?
nice.
No,
Yeah.
it's not very nice. We just want to find that curve. We just want to measure the lake. Leave us be. So what do you think? Do you think there's curve? Do you think the lakes are curving?
I couldn't really know for sure.
All right. Well, what about your experience with water so far? Maybe if we think about what we know about water, maybe we can work it out. So have you got a
Yeah.
glass of water or something next to you?
I have a bottle of water next to me.
Okay. You see the surface of that water? It's
Yeah.
totally level. Totally level, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. So if you scale that up to a bathtub, the surface of that, flat,
Yeah, it's
level.
flat. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we go up to a swimming pool. The surface of the swimming pool, what's that?
Flat.
Okay, now we scale it up to a lake. What's the lake?
Flat.
Right. Okay, and now what about an ocean?
Flat.
Well, there you go. So if we've got flat oceans, we can't be on a ball. I mean, they say about 70% of the Earth is ocean, water. And if 70% of it is then level, like water is, then we can't be on a 70% flat ball, because balls aren't flat. Do you see what I mean?
I think I was told something at one time where the reason why it looks flat is because the Earth is so big and we're so small. So
Yeah.
like we can only see we can't really see the it like being round because
Yeah,
of
yeah.
how big it is. But I don't
Yeah. I mean,
know
that's what
about
they say,
that.
right? But do you think it's possible that it looks flat because it is flat?
I mean, I'm not denying the possibility.
Right. So So if someone was to say, okay, it looks flat, and that means it could be flat, but I'm telling you it's actually curved, would you want evidence for that claim?
Yeah.
Okay, and what evidence do you think you have for it? Other than saying it's just so big it looks flat, because that's not really evidence for it, is it? That's just kind of saying, that's like an excuse as to why it looks flat, but you need the evidence that it's actually curved. So what would that be?
No, I wouldn't know.
Because nothing in your life experience has told you that it's a spinning ball, except
Yeah.
maybe when you've seen things on TV or on YouTube or something, right? If you see those images. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the only time we have any experience of a ball Earth. All the other times we go outside, nothing's spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. The lakes aren't curving; they look flat.
Yeah.
So, and there's an easy way to actually test this, and this is what people are doing, right? So let me run you through a little example while I've got time. I need to jump off soon, but imagine we're at a lake, right? And it's 10 miles wide. Do you use miles? Do you understand miles?
Yeah, miles.
Yeah, 10 miles, right? It's a decent size. It's not massive, but it's pretty big.
Yeah.
So how much curvature do you think would exist over 10 miles from point A to point B? You know how it will slope down and away from you?
Yeah.
So when we get 10 miles away, how much do you think we've dropped due to the curve? Just, you can guess.
Like a
I don't
little
expect
bit.
you to know. Like a centimeter, 2 centimeters, a meter?
Yeah. Something like that.
Okay. So not very much. Okay, what if I told you that the globe model claims that the actual drop over 10 miles would be 66.6 feet?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you expect that?
No, 66 feet.
Yeah, bro. So if you're standing at the other side of that lake and I'm standing on the other side of the lake, should I be able to see you through like a pair of binoculars or something?
No.
No, because you're going to be beneath 60 feet plus of curved water, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what people are doing. They're taking these numbers, which is based on the globe model, and you can Google curve calculator and stuff and get all these numbers. And they're going to the lake, and they're taking their binoculars, and they're looking through them, and they're seeing their friend on the other side.
Yeah.
Right, so what does it mean if I'm seeing you on the other side of that 10-mile lake?
It doesn't really seem like a 66-foot drop to me.
Well, it would mean that there's no obstruction due to curvature, right? I can see you.
Yeah.
So you're not below a 60-foot drop of water. Which would mean the lake is not curved, right?
Yeah.
So if the lake's not curved, then the Earth is not a curved ball.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah? Makes sense, right? So that's something you can try yourself when you take some time to investigate the globe model and its sizes and all that. You can go and test the numbers, see how far you can see. Because basically the case is, what I'm telling you is, we see too far, right? Where the globe model says it should drop off due to curve, we're not seeing that. We're seeing much further, like there's no curve. So, have you seen the additional information channels down below?
No.
So if you scroll a bit further down below this voice channel, like 3/4 of the way down the server list, you'll see an additional information section, and it's all alphabetized, right? So it's got like Antarctica, astronauts, NASA, gravity, sun, moon, eclipses. Do you see all those channels?
Yeah, I see it. It's a lot of them. Jeez.
Yeah, it's a lot of information. It's a lot to get into because it's about the nature of Earth, right? So it covers a lot of things. So Google and YouTube will censor a lot of flat Earth material actually made by people who understand that the Earth is not a spinning ball. So if you Google flat Earth or you YouTube flat Earth, they'll just give you anti-flat Earth propaganda, basically. So we save all the good stuff here so that you can actually do your research on both sides, right? I'm not saying don't watch something. I mean, watch whatever you want, but you won't hear our position if you're just looking on Google and YouTube, because apparently, even though it's the craziest conspiracy ever, they have to censor it and hide it. And they've admitted this in front of the US Congress. Google went up and said, we will censor flat Earth. Because, well, I don't know, it's supposed to be crazy. Why would you have to censor it? But they censor it. So take your time to look through those channels, because you'll have questions about all those topics, I'm sure. And before A starts, at the very beginning, there's a section called FE Introduction Videos. I'm sure someone can post it in the live stream channel, the live stream voice text channel. And take some time to look through all those resources, because there's a lot of things in there that you might find interesting.
Yeah, I'll look into it. Every time like a flat Earth video pops up on my YouTube, it usually has like that Wikipedia page thing.
Yeah, they also added this little Wikipedia blurb to not just flat Earth, but a whole number of subjects, where it'll be like, careful, citizen number 1578B-9, you are about to consume dangerous content. Your opinions might be tested. And the state doesn't want you to be having your opinions tested about narratives that it's worked hard to shape. So, where the government, if you see one of those stickers on a video, look into whatever it's telling you not to look into, because that means
that I don't like about the little blurb thing, it only shows like a portion of it, and it just says it's not true without really explaining it. It just says it's not true.
Yeah, it's because they think you're dumb. They think you're going to read that and go, okay, Wikipedia says it's not true. Investigation complete. That's what they're doing.
Wikipedia. I don't trust it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I think
Wikipedia
people are getting tired of that too. I think people are getting tired of being told what to think.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And if you're savvy to...
Chris.
Sorry, go on.
Well, I was just going to say that I've submitted complaint. I mean, those that are familiar with me in the channel know that I'm not a flat earther, but I have submitted several complaints to YouTube about that disclaimer, because I think, if anything, I mean, given how much the official narrative has been wrong, to whatever degree the officials come out and adopt a narrative, you're just going to naturally assume that it's bullshit. So that's my 2 cents. I have to jump in a meeting in 4 minutes, but just thought I would check in with the group.
Good to hear you, man. Well, I would say that anyone who's familiar with how propaganda works generally should be getting red flags immediately when they're looking into flat Earth, because there's clearly so much propaganda surrounding it. You should be asking, why is there such an effort to make this seem absolutely ridiculous? And yet, when I actually speak to someone about it who's genuine, they're not crazy people. They're not out of their mind. They're not irrational. Why am I being presented with this narrative as if these are the craziest people on Earth? I mean, that's a tell. That's a tell.
Yep.
Sorry, we've got someone else in this chat who was saying something. Darty Mian, are you there? Said something about scaling the water. How's it going?
Sorry, my English not so good as I want to, so I'm not as good in conversation, in voice conversation as you are. So I'm okay with chat, but not in the voice.
Your English sounds better than my Russian or Czech or Polish or wherever I suspect you're from. But if you don't want to talk on voice, that's fine. Russia, there you go. I hope everything's all right over there. I know you guys are getting a hard time. You guys are almost as unpopular as us flat earthers. So I almost feel some kind of bond with you. I'm just joking. I guess war's not a jokey subject, but hope everything's good. Feel free to stick to the tech chat if you prefer. I won't be reading it, but someone will.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Is that a fair comparison, flat earthers and Russians right now?
Sorry, come again, please.
He's
Oh
just
no, I was
making a
just
joke.
asking the room if it's fair to say that now the flat earthers and the Russians are probably about on par in unpopularity.
Well,
For the
what
official
is
narratives,
exactly happening with Russia? I don't really keep up with that stuff.
Yeah,
don't-
I would
they don't
actually.
want
That's a
NATO.
good point.
they don't want
Yeah,
NATO
yeah.
to.
They don't.
They don't
yeah,
want
Dar-
Ukraine to become.
I would
part
like
of
to
NATO.
hear. I would like to hear Dark's take on what's going on with Russia and Ukraine at the moment, if you don't mind, Dark. From a Russian perspective, we're not getting the Russian side, you see.
Actually, I'm not so interested in those conflicts, so I can't tell something particular
Okay,
of
fair
this
enough.
topic.
Fair enough.
And if you're asking about flat earther in Russia, yes, they are. And I came here from another server in Discord where Russian flat earth are
Okay.
sitting.
Sweet. How are flat earthers in Russia treated? Are they thrown in the gulag, or are they okay?
No, they're okay.
That's good. That's good. Good for Russia. Base Russia.
Doesn't Russia have like a really bad like propaganda problem? Because I remember researching something into like forcing atheism on the people, which is kind of weird. I think it was like
Yes,
during
there
the
is a
space race.
propaganda in Russia, but it's only how to say it. In politics, there is no propaganda in science or something like that. Just propaganda.
Oh, that's so good. I mean, I was gonna say, coming from the West, we're not really in a position to criticize Russia's propaganda, considering that's all we live in. But I like his point that he's pretty much saying, well, at least our propaganda is restricted to bullshit politics, and we're not telling you that the men are women and the women are men. Oh, that's pretty funny. No, it's good to have you, Dart. Welcome to the server.
Yeah. I forgot about LGBTQ. What that kind of stuff. Yeah, there is also propaganda about that in Russia. And in Russia, if you gay or something, you are not welcome. So if you can't just say that gays are normal in Russia. You have to say that it's not okay.
So the propaganda
kind of stuff.
isn't quite the same as here, because here we have to sponsor them. Only joking. We need to drop this topic. It's going to get
true,
too
but
spicy for Discord.
in my opinion, though, if you just finish the whole alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, then by the time you're done, you take a deep breath and everybody's forgot about what the fuck you were talking about in the first place.
And we're nothing if not educational. So there's the alphabet. Okay, anyone got a Earth-related topic they want to get into? I'm going to have to drop off in a few minutes, but we've got a few new people in. I think we've got Dart, or he's maybe left now. Oh, Dart's still here. Dart, Ray, sort of Spooby. If any of you guys wants to ask a question, feel free.
I've got a quick question. With regards to the Eastern Orthodox Christians in Russia, how accepting are they of geocentrism versus heliocentrism? Can you speak to that?
You mean about flat earthers or just in general?
Not quite flat Earth, just geocentrism. Earth in the middle of the universe.
That's a very difficult
Dart,
question, in my opinion, to answer. That would be very hard to answer at all because.
Sorry,
well,
I'm not
wait a minute.
quite
Let me just
understand.
With regards to the Eastern Orthodox Christians in Russia, how accepting are they of geocentrism versus heliocentrism? Can you speak to that?
I mean, you mean about flat earthers or just in general?
Not quite flat Earth, just geocentrism. Earth in the middle of the universe.
That's a very
Yeah, Dart,
difficult question, in my opinion, to
Yeah,
answer. That would
it
be
might
very
be.
hard to answer at
you might want
all
to explain.
because,
Sorry, go on.
I'm not
wait a minute.
quite
Let me just
understand it.
I'm trying to interject. I'm trying to interject at the time appropriate. So I think it's not an inappropriate question, but I think it's almost impossible question to answer because most people live their lives geocentrist. They just don't know they are.
Right, but from the Eastern Church's perspective, Copernicus really wasn't a part of it.
Well,
Do you know
it just
about
depends.
geocentrism and heliocentrism, Dart? Just to clarify, because I think Dart maybe needs the terms explained to in English or in Russian if anyone speaks Russian. So, Dart, what we're talking about basically is the sun and the moon and the stars going around the Earth. That would be geocentrism.
Yeah, now the difference between heliocentrism and geocentrism. But in Russia, there was a period when there was a Soviet Union government, and during that period, all religions were not welcomed. So Soviet government tried to erase all religions that were in Russians people heads, and during that,
Were those religions geocentric openly before that, would you say?
The Soviet government tried to cancel all the religions that were in people of the Soviet Union.
Right.
So we don't care about East Christians, West Christians. It doesn't matter in Russia.
Yeah, I have one question
Mostly.
I have one question for the Russian gentleman. Welcome to the server. I was going to ask, in that concern, as far as you know, Eastern Orthodox religion, they're primarily like Catholic, basically, right? But without the Vatican. And the main question is, do they go by the Bible? Do they actually read the Bible? In other words, my real question is, are they Genesis believing Christians? Do they believe in Genesis, or are they like most American Catholics? They don't know anything about the Bible. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I think yes, but I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Okay.
I'm an atheist. I mean, I don't believe in God, so I'm not interested in this topic. So I don't know in general.
Right, I understand. Okay, that clarifies it. Thank you for that. But that doesn't exclude you from being a flat earther. Did you say you are not a flat earther?
Yes, I am not a flat earther.
Okay, and what would you say would be the primary proof or evidence that you use to validate your belief? In other words, is there proof of curvature on Earth, or rotation, or gas pressure without a container?
Yeah, I can explain all of that in Russian, but in English it's hard for me for now.
Okay, well that's okay. I wouldn't ask you to answer for all of those, but maybe one single thing that you use that solidifies in your mind that Earth is a ball. What would it be?
I think it will be refraction, and during the refraction, I mean, which way it bends the light?
Okay, light goes in a
Uh,
straight line to your eye. That's why we have a visual acuity range. When it gets to close to zero, in other words, straight into your eye, this is what you're talking about. So you're talking about optics. You're not talking about the Earth curvature. You're talking about a
yeah,
phenomena that occurs
but
because of our optics, our eye at the horizon. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a measurable drop over distance, which would be required of a ball.
if we talk about the drop with the distance, you have to travel to longer distance with accurate.
Okay, so
How to say it? I don't
275
know.
miles, 275 miles is not far enough, then, is what you're saying. With infrared
Uh,
lenses, 275 miles, that's not far enough. What about observations that right now we show the Earth's radius would be 500,000 miles in radius that you could go out and do yourself today? All you have to do is see anything visible at 20 miles or 30 miles. It's over. Over and out. It's out for the count. Knockout. KO'd. So, kaboom.
Sorry, you interrupted me and I missed my thoughts.
What? I interrupted you. I was done talking.
Um,
You were done talking
I
too.
no,
But I'm still wondering where your proof
just
is.
don't know how to say it in English. Sorry,
Oh, okay, good. So
I'm
what
not.
is your proof? So in Russian, what is your proof for the globe? Just one. Like one shot of vodka. We just want one single proofs. Proofs, you know? There's the proofs.
Sounds go down under the
What?
horizon.
What? What? The horizon. So something that you don't see is your proof. So something that you do not see is your proof of your globe. That's supposed to be physical. Okay. Thanks for that input. Appreciate
I
it.
saw sounds get down under the horizons.
And then you zoom back in and it comes back up. What
Nope,
about that part? Yep.
it's
We
never
show it
happened.
all the time. Yeah, we show it all the time. Yeah. It's been shown thousands and thousands of times. As a matter of fact. Yep. Truly is.
Never saw that. Never saw that.
Yep. I have 3 videos right on my own right on my own YouTube channel, showing the phenomena, the whole thing.
Yeah,
Can I
let's
have a
show him
link?
some of those. If you look in the live stream voice text, the text channel just above where you were typing before, right? People will be posting demonstrations and things of what we're talking about. So there's one. Right, see it zooms all the way in and then the boat is visible. You see that?
When it was?
Live stream voice text, 41 minutes past the hour. I'll tag you.
Thank you.
Okay, see my message?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now watch the GIF.
Yeah, it's you not get the ship up from the horizon with zoom. It's just the matter of
Before it zooms, where is the ship?
it's very low definition of the matrix in your cam, so the ship takes less than 1 pixel, and you can see the ship.
It's the same with the naked eye. You cannot see the ship until you zoom in. Then you see it. Right?
because naked eye have the same configuration. There is a pixels in your eye.
Right. So we're not seeing it because it's out of our range of vision. We're not seeing it because it's gone over a curve, right?
But if
So when
you
you
see long
think
enough,
it's gone over a
you
curve,
can you can
we
see
see long
that
enough.
ship can go down under the horizon.
Well, we see it with our eyes go down on the horizon, but then we take a camera out and we zoom in and we can see it again. So it's obviously not physically gone down, it's only optically went down. Yeah?
Nope.
Well, that's what we see. Because, look, you don't see the boat before it zooms in, and then you do see the boat, right? So it's not gone behind a curve when you don't see it.
Hell no!
So when you don't see a boat, it doesn't automatically mean it's gone behind the curve, does it? Could be optical. And we can actually show you this effect happening on a flat surface, right? Did you know that you can make something appear to disappear bottom up on a flat surface?
The same exact way, yes. It's over a flat surface. It can be demonstrated repeatedly. Actually, it has been. There's dozens and dozens, from as simple as actual you zooming back into a ship or a boat or whatever, and or other
I
things
can
like that. Even a
post the
coin.
pictures.
Even a coin. I was almost done. Sorry, I'm long-winded. So even a coin on a table, it shows the same exact thing. There are numerous demonstrations of this. Even someone made a boat on a table and showed the same effects, like Fata Morgana, superior and inferior mirages. Those on a table, flat plane.
Yeah,
That's where those things happen.
So do you see the gifts that I just posted?
You can see the surface of the table.
Yeah, but it's level with the table, right? Because in the last GIF, he zooms in and he resolves the coin at the end. You see that? If the camera was under the table, you wouldn't be able to see the coin at the end. Do you see?
Mm-hmm.
So we can make objects seem to disappear bottom up on a flat surface due to perspective. That's just how our eyes work. So what they've done is they've taken this phenomenon of perspective and they've told us it's an Earth curve. But when you actually go out there and try to measure the Earth curve that they say is causing the boats to go bottom up, it's not there. We see too far. I mean, where they say mathematically that boat should have gone bottom up, they'll say like 3-4 miles from the beach. If you're standing on the beach, the boat should start going bottom up. But we have recorded observations of people seeing boats 20 miles away, 30 miles away, when they're supposed to be way below the curve. Think about that. Crazy, huh? Anyway, it's been good time.
That's a good one. That's a good one on the coin. That coin one right there. That, because you can see clearly the whole entire profile of the coin from top to bottom. So
I had
like
a guy
if you're coming into okay. Hey man, nice seeing you in here. Yeah. Hey, I was gonna say,
jump.
I appreciate it. Timbo, yeah. Or was that T-Dub? You know what? I'm sorry. I still get confused. My bad. But
that was Wolfgang.
That was Wolfgang. I'm totally off today because I'm not looking at the list. That's why. But you could show that this happens with a coin on the table. Right there is a perfect example. So you can't deny something such as the long distance photographers that got the Guinness Book of World Records in infrared of the 255-mile distance. That should have made that furthest peak, at least in my information, at least a mile, the very top of it, at least a mile underneath a curvature of humped water. And instead of seeing the hump of water in between at 100 and something miles, which is where it would be, which would be out in the middle of the bay, you could see all the way across the bay to the harbor where the boats are moored, then to the city and the foothills and the higher elevations, then right all the way up to the very peak itself. All laid out, yes, go ahead and say it, all laid out flat in front of us. That's the way this earth presents itself. So you have an extraordinary claim if you're claiming that you live on a ball earth. There's no evidence in our human experience. So you have the burden of proof. Everyone else experiences the earth we're talking about is the same one that's outside when you go outside. And there you have it. Welcome to Flat Earth. Snacks are back. TJ's on his way. Electricians replacing the fuses with a higher wattage amperage so they can handle more power because we're going to need it.
And what about eclipse?
What about the eclipse? The Chaldeans, the flat earthers are the ones, it's a post-diction. They know where they are so well, they put it in charts. Even the Mayans did. The Mayans and the Chaldeans are the ones that wrote that, both flat earth civilizations. So what would you like to know about it? They use a horizon
how
as
it
0
happened?
for elevation. Yeah, elevation angles. That's how it happened. They use elevation angles from the horizon because they know it's a line of the horizon and their line of sight. That's what they were able to figure out. If you can tell what a fucking straight line is in manufacturing or drawing or whatever, and you can tell what it is in nature too, well, they were pretty fucking smart. They learned how to use elevation angles. You can't do that on a curved surface though. They use devices like the cross staff, the double staff, the triple staff, the freaking quadruple staff, the astrolabe. These are all predecessors of the freaking, excuse my language, of the sextant. And you can only use the sextant while navigating on the x-axis if you can use H horizon as your 0 point to start to get your elevation angles.
I would say that I'm not convinced that this guy has any idea what you're talking about.
That's okay. The audience hears it and hears no answer. Oh,
Actually, my English is not so good, so I not quite understand what you mean about elevation angles.
okay, so
What do
you know
you
what
mean
a
about
triangle. You know what a triangle is, right?
that? Mm-hmm.
Okay, what is a triangle?
It's a geometric object with 3 angles.
Geometric shape starting with 3 points and then straight lines from each point to the next. And Pythagorean theorem says that you can't have any more right. You can't have a right triangle that can exceed 180 degrees. And also Pythagorean theorem says nothing at all about having a curved any side to using these triangles. And we've learned to use them to navigate so well that they printed the elevation angles to the luminaries above us because they're so precise like a clock and calendar to the second. You can tell where you are using them, using right triangles, but not with a curved surface. Yeah, you carry those books on board with you called the Nautical Almanacs. You have to have them, unless you memorize some of them. I suppose there's people that might have memorized enough that they can tell from where the sun angle is to how far they are across the Pacific, can find their whole way. We know that people have done it both directions throughout history. So yeah, right triangles is the only way you can do that. So you asked about, we're talking about the surface of Earth here, though, primarily, because you can't tell anything more than the lights in the sky. Then they are just exactly that, the lights in the sky. That's all you can tell about them. But we know what a triangle is. So back to those 3 points with the lines. One of those lines is straight up and down. That would be your GP, or ground position, of the luminary itself. Your position from there, you take an elevation angle from the horizon up to that luminary, and you notate the angle. Now you're traveling along the bottom one. Do you understand how you cannot have that bottom one you're traveling on and get your fix or location if it was a curved surface, let alone get a 0 for your instrument they could start elevation angle from? Do you understand that? Okay, I'm gonna take that.
I'm sorry, I have
that's
to
all right.
go.
That's okay. I take this as a teaching experience. I appreciate your time. I'm sorry if you didn't understand all of that. Come back again. We'll do another try. We'll keep, plugging away with the triangle, and each side being completely straight lines. That's why you can use your straight line of sight. That's what they call it in navigational jargon. And the line of the horizon. Think about those two terms. Those are straight lines. Otherwise, you couldn't use your eyesight. So them trying to tell us that our eyesight is warbled doesn't surprise me now. Now I can get it. They weren't prepared for how we actually navigate and travel across the surface. They weren't prepared for something that simple. Because that can never be done on a globe Earth. Ever. Never, ever, ever. And now I'll yield the floor to CB. Or another worthy component. Another worthy component. Component. Yeah, it sounded like opponent. See, tricked you. Another worthy component to the element of Fe. Fe is like iron, sharpen our sword. And if you're not careful, we'll shred you to ribbons with the power of our sword. Okay, I'll stop. Dang, I was starting to feel better and better during that conversation. Hey, how is everyone else doing here? Don't let me be a lone ranger.
Stop it!
Hey, Kimosabi.
You don't have to be a Lone Ranger. You can be the Lone Stranger.
Lone strangers. Bill Susan.
Hi.
Chat. Spooby. Who's Spooby?
Stranger
Are you
danger.
there?
Stranger danger.
I better look at the regular list.
What is your profession?
See, old friend, I brought more soldiers than you did.